All right. My name is Chris Schuster, and the dialogue I went to was the dialogue on race. Um, I'm just gonna kind of go off of the sheet here as far as what I'm supposed to answer, and then maybe have like a little summary of how I feel about this at the end. Um, as the first question is, do you feel your group achieved true dialogue? No. Um, I actually think the entire point of the race dialogue was missed because the entire class was white. I was the least white person in the room. You know, each person was a cookie cutter of the cookie cutter version of the next. Khakis or blue jeans with a t-shirt or Columbia pullover. And that was it. Even the guy giving the thing was white. So I don't think anybody at any point had to challenge any of their preconceived notions or conventions. Um, at one point, there was actually an activity where we were supposed to write down a stereotype on a note card and put it under one of the ethnic groups. And the class actually treated this like it was an activity. Like they were excited. They were running around just slapping stuff up. That, that was just like fun time in racist land. Just an ability to be racist comfortably in front of a bunch of other white people. Um, were there active voices in the dialogue? I mean, I tried to be one. Um, having kind of been out and about for a while, obviously by looking at me, you can tell I'm a little bit older than your average, 20-year-old student. But um, trying to guide when I was in a group or when we were in a larger group, trying to add something to the dialogue or maybe point out people's enthusiasm where it should be this reserved, I don't really want to do this. And that's the way I think it would have been. If you'd have, dropped a couple of, ethnicities in the room, I think people would have been a lot more reserved. One of the biggest things that bothered me is that one of the kids actually put superior on a note card under Caucasian. I thought, Jesus, man, that guy, somebody needs to find that kid and sit him down and have a chit chat with him about why that's not okay. Um, were there more reserved voices in my dialogue? Absolutely. Um, I felt like the instructor's voice was reserved. Um, it seemed like he just wasn't guiding the group in any way. I mean, I understand it shouldn't be like, military leadership, but he just, I don't know. It's while I view the group as being a little dysfunctional because of the lack of color, it was like it sickened him. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. Whatever it was, it made him ineffectual as leadership. Um, yeah, I don't think anybody got anything out of that. It seems like a really good idea. Like, get a group of people, get them to confront their conventions and their preconceived notions in a blameless environment. And if there's something that you genuinely have to deal with, to have that person that you have that preconceived notion or convention about right there in front of you, who has in the whole part in the beginning where you're supposed to say there's no judgment here, and you could get that stuff out and say, hey man, that's not true, or that might be kind of true, but for different reasons, or what have you. Um, and the what role did I play in the group? Oh, I played the old guy. That's the part I always play. Being an unconventional student, I always tend to gravitate towards more leadership roles in the groups. I try to be more of a student and less of a leader, but in those situations, I always tend to be kind of guiding, um, guiding force in that group. Um, and I think I was able to keep the groups I was in able to keep on track and able to kind of see the objective and get something out of it, or try to anyway. And why do I think that the dialogue is a component of Library 100? Um, I think the idea is getting people to, once you realize that you have some race issues, and almost everybody does somewhere down the line, whether you do now or you did in the past. Confronting those issues, particularly with those of other groups, part of what made me lose a lot of my preconceived notions was working side by side when I was in the Navy with many different ethnic groups: Filipino, Hispanic, Black, you know, Ivy League white, as opposed to normal working class white guy. I mean, there's so many different kind of like subcategories there. But I worked and learned to get along with every different group, and then that enriched me as a person. I think the idea of the not just the race, but all of the other different dialogues is to get you to confront some conceived notion that you have, and then dispel it, whatever it is. Um, do I think it's useful? Again, I think somewhere in the planning stage, these things need to be a melting pot, not just 20 representations of the exact same perspective. That doesn't do anything for anybody. Um, so that's the questions that I was asked to answer. Um, I've made a lot of my own thoughts, pretty clear on the subject. And I think it's relevant because today is election day, and you get a lot of, particularly this being the South, race is always out there, and it's always on the tip of your tongue, and this area is kind of known for it, particularly as far in as we are. Um, I guess if anybody's watching this that isn't somebody giving me credit for having done it, um, I don't know if I'm trying to put a message in this. I just look past. I mean, one of the things, the last thing that I said in the group, and what I said to one of the gentlemen in the group was, we're all just folk. Black, white, brown, what have you. We're all just people, and we all want the same things out of life. And that's why you should vote Obama. Good night, and good luck.